On this week's podcast, there really isn't gaming news, so let's talk movies. We also have the continuation of our Lent series coming at you next.
Hey, and we're back. This is David Petty, one of your podcast co-hosts. And as we said, there's not a whole lot of gaming news this week, so we are going to talk a little bit about movies. We're going to talk a little bit about what we liked, what we didn't, and a movie that Russ saw for the first time after 28 years. But then we're going to get into our weekly devotional for Lent with Reverend Steve Petty, my father. So stay tuned after the break for that. But first, Russ, why don't you get us into the small, tiny bit of gaming news that we do have?
Well, the small bit of gaming news, I should say, that we have this week is we do have a PlayStation State of Play. After a State of Play last week, I believe, which just focused on Japanese game developers, we have a new State of Play coming up this Thursday that is going to be all about the new Harry Potter Hogwarts Legacy, and we are going to get a lot of gameplay. So if you're a Harry Potter fan, make sure to check it out. It's coming at you at 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific. So for us mountain timers, that's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Make sure you check it out. I'm sure once it's done, those gameplays will be up for everybody, and it'll be an exciting time to get to see our first look at this massive RPG Harry Potter game, which I think everybody is excited to get to try out. So very, very excited for that. We just thought we'd throw that in there real quick. Last little bit of gaming news, just to kind of throw it in there as well. Elden Ring, second most successful launch in the last 12 months. Right behind Call of Duty Vanguard, which is a huge feat for a game like Elden Ring. It is not a mainstream type game, a game that everybody is going to want to play or be able to play. And it's surprising to see how many. I will say I have invested about 13, 14 hours into Elden Ring, and it has clicked for me. So if it's something you might be interested in the future, I definitely recommend giving it a go. It's definitely a little bit different from some of the past Souls games. So if you're interested at all, I would recommend picking it up. It is rated M for mature, so make sure you are old enough to play. But other than that, we don't have much gaming news this week. So we thought, why don't we talk about some movies? There's been some great movies to come out recently that both Dave and I have seen. There's also a movie that I need to discuss with Dave because I just saw it for the first time and I am horrible, and you guys can all take my movie card away from me for a while as a result of this. But first up, let's just talk about Uncharted. Obviously, video game movies have a very, very bad rap with horrible, horrible games, not including Doom, which is a very good video gaming movie. But
okay, sure it is.
Both Dave and I have seen Uncharted. Dave, we'll get your reaction first. What were your thoughts on seeing Uncharted, and where does it kind of rank in your head in the video game movie world?
Sure. Yeah. So I think for me, and I'll caveat here, you can take my gamer card away from me because I went and saw Uncharted with my son. I have not played Uncharted, some of which is because he played through all of the Uncharted games. He really enjoyed them. He said there was some of his favorite games. And so we decided to go watch it. And I think it probably rates right around 5 or 6 in the rank. It might make that top 5. And I don't think it's better than Detective Pikachu or better than what's the other movie I'm thinking of?
The reboot Sonic.
The reboot Sonic. So Detective Pikachu, reboot Sonic, arguably even Angry Birds 2 might be up there just because of amazing cast it had. But I think it definitely makes the top 5. And here's my reason why. I think it was a fun all-around movie. Some of it was I went in with no expectations as a movie that didn't claim to be an Academy Award contender. It's kind of like Jungle Cruise. It felt very much that just kind of like good family fun, not family, but good fun for all ages. I don't know. And then I think there was a good element of nostalgia from like the Indiana Jones movies. There was some Goonies reference. So overall, I just thought it was a good, fun time. I thought the interplay between Tom Holland and, I'm blanking. Mark Wahlberg. I was thinking like Mark Zuckerberg. No, wrong Mark. Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch, that Mark. So yeah, it was a good interplay between those two actors. I'm curious to see if they make more, which it seems like they
Oh, they will.
could.
No, they
I'm
will.
curious to see how they evolve Tom Holland's character, both in terms of his physique as well as his his just emotional kind of maturity. He very much seemed like that kind of like teenage Spider-Man starting to become adult kind of person, but definitely not the Nathan Fillion version that we had of Nathan Drake in one of the fan films. So overall, I thought it was an excellent film. Would highly recommend it. Russ, what did you think?
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I went in with low expectations. I know it's a video game movie. I'm not expecting the world. I just wanted to go to a theater, have some fun, eat some popcorn, enjoy the flick in the sense that I just sit there and not really have to think too much. It accomplished that for me. I did take my wife, who's a big Indiana Jones fan, loved that. She was so excited going into this, has no background on Uncharted, just knows that it's one of my favorite games. So she was super excited to see it, came out saying, I absolutely loved it. I had a lot of fun. It brought me back to, my time of, dealing with and watching Indiana Jones. So, overall, it did what it needed to do. The good news is, oh, sorry, the good news is, it's doing really well in the box office. It is at 301 million worldwide, and that is before its Chinese release. It is supposed to go to China actually today. It released today in China. So they do not have the numbers yet for China. So we should see that jump actually very high. The fact that it's already at 300 million worldwide without a Chinese release and the type of movie this is, which is very, very directed towards the Chinese market, I have a feeling that it's going to do very, very well. So and Sony has already come out and said that this is a major uh, cornerstone for them. It is a major franchise for them that they are planning to go forward with. So we will see sequels in the future of this, no doubt about it. And I'm excited to see where they go with it. Just make some fun references to the games, expand on it a little bit, and I think it's going to do just fine. So excited about that. The
Yeah,
other
and
movie that just
I was
oh,
going
go
to say,
ahead.
if I could add one more thing, I was just looking up for the numbers people. Uncharted had a box office opening of 44 million. As you mentioned, worldwide about 300 million so far. Only had a $120 million budget, which is really not huge for a movie that
Nope.
of this size. So I think the other thing, like, it's going to be successful. They've already obviously made their budget back and then some. And not to mention the Chinese market, which is huge. I mean, you just see movies that go to the Chinese market, and with what 1.4 billion people over there, some of
Oh
them are going to
yeah,
watch this. But
yeah.
also, I think it's a good investment for Sony to say, hey, I left the movie wanting to go out and play it. So maybe get some people that are interested in Uncharted as a movie that say, oh, maybe I'll check out this game too. And I think that's a franchise that has helped them to sell consoles and helped Sony to be successful. So we'll see, if that happens. And then I'm curious, will the same thing happen with like the Halo TV series down the line?
The
Uh,
reviews are not good. That
Maybe
premiered
not.
today,
All
by
right.
the
Well,
way.
we'll come back to the Halo TV series another time. But
Yeah. Well, the other big release in the past week and a half, the Batman starring Robert Pattinson finally got released. Both David and I have seen it. As far as my reaction, I am a huge Batman fan. Love all the Batman movies. My movie room that I watch movies in, separate from the house, is Batman themed. So I'm a pretty big Batman fan, and I absolutely loved it. I think it is one of probably the most comic book accurate Batmans that has ever been put on the screen. It is the first time that I've felt they've really attached themselves to the detective version of Batman, the world's greatest detective. That is what Batman is known for. And we have yet to really see that on screen. I think they can definitely dive into that more in the sequels, which we know we're getting. We're getting a trilogy. On top of that, we're getting two series on HBO Max. We're getting the Penguin, and we're getting a Gotham PD, which I guess has changed. They've just recently announced that it's going to be focused on Arkham Asylum, which I think is a really cool idea for that. So this is going to become a very large series, a very large universe, and I absolutely love what Robert Pattinson did. For those people who make fun of the fact that it's like, oh look, it's emo Batman, No, that is probably one of the most accurate depicted Batmans on screen, because if you go watch the 1989, but if you go watch Batman Returns, there's a scene at the end of the movie where Michael Keaton's Batman rips his cowl off. And in one scene, he has the cowl on, black eyes out. When he rips the mask off, all of a sudden his face is magically clean, and the black that was around his eyes with the mask is completely gone. Dumbest thing ever. Everybody always makes fun of it for it. The fact is, they actually show this. They show that, yes, Robert Pattinson is blacking out his eyes to fill the Batman mask. You have to do it. Otherwise, they'll see your eyes, and it's a lot easier to tell who you are between the eyes and the mouth. I mean, who's kidding themselves? Superman has the dumbest disguise in the history of mankind by just putting on glasses. So at least
And a mustache,
Batman does
right?
a little bit. No, no mustache. No mustache.
That was a Henry Cavill reference there with the mustache.
Oh, yeah. No, exactly. We don't talk about that. We don't talk about that. But the rest of the cast is amazing. Colin Farrell, absolutely amazing as the Penguin, completely unrecognizable. The action is great. The cinematography is great. Go see it. I will give one warning for all the parents out there. It is not a kid-friendly. I was actually, as I was watching it, I'm like, this movie could have been rated R.
Oh, yeah.
Very close.
Oh, yeah. We took
close R.
Yeah, we took our 12-year-old son, and I would say it was a heavy PG-13. I mean, it was one of those movies, and this has always been my problem with ratings, right? It feels like ratings are, does this check this box, right? And so I think I've talked to the podcast before. I used to play a game called Hunter Call of the Wild, right? This is a hunting game, beautiful scenery. When you shoot the deer, there's a little pool of blood on the ground. It doesn't spurt, it doesn't splat, but there is blood on the ground. But because of that, it's rated M, right? And I think there might be some language. Okay. So because of that, it's rated M. However, like explaining to people that there are curse words in the world and how to use them and when not to, and explaining to people that deer bleed if you shoot them, that like these are not traumatic things. Now, the Batman, maybe not so much language, maybe not even so much blood, but very realistic situations of peril and mental health struggles and just all sorts of things that I went, oh, this is darker than I expected. It was a really good Lent movie, I would say. But I think you're absolutely right. You hit the nail on the head when it comes to both the believability of this Batman, as he's not, going from makeup on to makeup off. There was also, we saw Batman at his most vulnerable. I mean, he just gets wrecked at one point, and you kind of go, oh wow, this is not the bouncy, completely invulnerable Batman, where I felt like the Christian Bale Batman felt like larger than life in terms of his finances, even all of the expenses he was spending his money on. You kind of go, okay, well, even if you were like Jeff Bezos rich, like this is maybe over the top compared to that. And then the technical part of the Christian Bale Batman was like the Iron Man over the top, have access to every single possible gadget ever.
Yeah.
This Batman felt like he was very intelligent. He was very wealthy, but real. He felt really real. And I think the only other thing that I would say about this Batman is Colin Farrell, totally wild that's who's in the Penguin. It took me forever to see it. I was like, this is like, just don't even, yeah. But then I think the other thing is who's the actor? I'm losing it.
John Turturro.
Nope.
Who are you looking for? Gordon?
Nope. I want to find it. It's right here. Paul Dano. Paul Dano is the Riddler.
As the Riddler.
Which,
Ridiculous.
Ever since I saw him in There Will Be Blood and Little Miss Sunshine, I mean, both just excellent movies. He plays a really good, kind of weird, creepy guy. And the effort he put into this character, I think, was just phenomenal. And you and I talked about it a little bit earlier, the believability of the Batman Riddler character, kind of like the Zodiac killer. Just excellent. All around, excellently done, beautifully shot, wonderful sound. I think my one complaint was I wish they had given even more significance to the Selena Kyle character. But apparently I'm in the minority there. A lot of people loved it. I thought her role in the movie was good. I just wanted more depth in character development for her. So
Gotcha.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I'm
my thoughts on
excited.
the Batman.
We're getting a trilogy. There's some cool Easter eggs in the movie, so please go see it. Enjoy it. I will say this. It is coming to HBO Max very soon. They are breaking with the mold. Uh they are bringing it, and I will get the date real quick for us because it is coming out very soon. I almost thought like, yeah, I'm excited to watch it on HBO Max because it's just
Here's the
fun.
question: is
Uh,
it coming before we actually get the Last of Us TV series?
Well, yeah, probably.
Darn.
I mean, so it is coming April 19th. So we're a month
Wow.
away from it being
Wow.
in
Okay.
HBO. They are doing a 45-day release to HBO Max. So
Wow. Okay.
that's huge,
Yeah.
huge. So if you haven't seen it, if you're not able to see it, you'll have a chance to see it from the comfort of your own home. So lastly, David, I'm going to let you.
Wait, did you say the Batman is coming in April?
Yes.
Okay, I thought you were
Yes.
saying the
The movie.
Penguin series. I was
No.
like, that's
Sorry.
incredibly fast. Holy cow. Okay.
No. The movie,
Okay. The movie.
is coming to HBO Max to watch
Okay.
at
Well,
home.
that's excellent. I think a lot of people are going to watch it. I think a lot of people are going to like it. Really quick, before we move on, I'm curious to just pull up how is the Batman doing in box offices?
Oh, really, really good. The Batman for box office, it is currently sitting 500 million
Wow.
global.
500 million worldwide and opening of
Yep.
134 million, a couple more dollars than Uncharted. And what was the budget? The Batman budget
Ooh.
reported 200 million.
Yep. So definitely a win for Warner
So,
Brothers.
yeah, definitely worth the
But it's
investment.
Batman. It's Batman. What do you expect?
Oh yeah. You're gonna make money on Batman,
Oh,
no
yeah.
matter what.
Batman's your cash cow. I mean, Batman is Warner Brothers' cash cow. DC's cash cow. Let's be honest. I'm sorry, Superman. I know people want a
I
good
still
Superman
want my
movie.
Ben Affleck Batman movie based on his character in The Accountant. Give
Oh,
me
yeah.
that movie because the accountant character with the quirkiness and when I watched The Accountant, I was like, this guy can do Batman. And then I saw the Batman v Superman and I went, this guy cannot do Batman.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well,
Anyway.
let's transition. David, you can go ahead and let the people know what a terrible person I am, and we can have a quick discussion.
Yeah, let's talk about that. So,
which, by the way, Angie, and I'll give this to you, but I'll give you a great analogy that she gave me while we were watching the movie. But go ahead.
Yeah, so I am often made fun of as a person with a degree in film for the number of movies that I have not seen. Like on the top of the list was like Godfather, I had not seen until recently. Doom, I had not seen until recently. Other good movies I had not seen until recently. But Russ was telling me he went and saw this wonderful movie the other day, finally came out on like 4K DVD. And he said he finally saw for the first time ever the Shawshank Redemption. And I got to tell you, not only was this incredible to me because I realized the Shawshank Redemption came out 28 years ago, but also it's got a pretty intense ending that I will not spoil for you in case you haven't seen it.
No.
But somehow Russ managed to have this not spoiled for him in 28 years of this movie being out. So I'm in awe, both at the ability for somebody to go 28 years without having something spoiled, and that Russ never saw Shawshank Redemption, and it's my absolute favorite movie. But Russ, what did you think about the Shawshank Redemption?
Oh, I absolutely loved it. Thought the acting was great. There wasn't a moment that I was like not, really bought into the whole movie. I was on the seat of my chair. I was paying attention. I was wondering and going through what's going to happen. What's going on? This is crazy. I can't believe this is working. He's so smart. Like the main character is such a great character. My wife made a great analogy because she just did a sermon on this at church. But she said that pretty much the Shawshank Redemption is the story of Joseph. So he has all this favor, like things just do not work for him very well. But then he has all this favor wherever he goes. He's always loved. He's always put into positions of power, positions of overlooking others. He's just a really likable guy that everybody who comes in contact with him just immediately connects with him. And, put into prison, obviously, for the wrong reasons. All this stuff. So
Don't give away the ending, but I could see it. I could see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
that's an incredible. Yeah, I feel like we'll have to come back to that.
It's a good analogy. We'll
Yeah.
definitely have a discussion. We need to have like a movie series that we like dive deep into some allegory.
We're a summer movie series, right?
Oh,
Summer's
yeah.
a good time for like summer blockbuster movies. We do like movie night with Russ and Dave.
The big one that I recently had my wife watch the very first time that she had never seen was The Matrix. And I said, when we go to watch this, just wait and think about this in the sense of an allegory for something in the Bible.
Well,
like, think about deep.
It's pretty on the nose with that one.
I know, but that's my point.
You don't have to dig hard for that one. But
so for a long time, she said she wouldn't see that movie, and then I explained like there's a big allegory, and it's like a very, very direct allegory for something. I think you'll find it and you'll like it. So because of that, she absolutely loved it. But before, she was like, I didn't want to see it because I thought it was just a bunch of people in leather coats shooting machine guns. Like, she didn't understand like that it's a much deeper film about society and about everything that's going on, and consumerism and all this.
Did she come away questioning reality for the rest of the day?
No, nothing like that. But just thought it was really great. So
yeah,
classic movies. We'll definitely look at doing some kind of series where we have a nice discussion. And
I mean, I still want to do the Mystery Science Theater 3000 thing, where we just put our silhouettes at the bottom of the screen and we just commentary over. Like, maybe we should do that and watch bad movies, and we'll start with like Doom, and then Mario Bros. Super Mario Bros.
Just do video game movies that are horrible and just go down the top 100 list. Like, here's movie night with Crossfire.
Yeah,
sure.
We can do that.
Okay, Dave, you transition us. We're done. That's enough.
Well, on that note, I just want to thank everybody for coming along for the ride for our anti-news news day here. But especially if you're here for the Lenten devotional, want to say thanks for either getting here or fast forwarding to this point. Probably I'll put a thing at the beginning that tells you where to go to get here. But for a follow-up, we've been doing this Lenten devotional series on a walk with Jesus, really kind of talking with Peter. My dad did this series from the first-hand account of Peter, going through the Gospel of Mark. And the way that it's formatted is that every week is a day closer to Easter in Holy Week. So it starts actually with Ash Wednesday. Then this week is about Palm Sunday. And then you're going to go to Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, etc., all the way until eventually you get to Easter. And obviously the events that happen at Easter. So we hope you enjoy this podcast. We hope you enjoy our devotional for today. Last reminder too, I'll tell you that if you want to support us, you can go to patreon.com Church for Gamers up top. And we really appreciate your support. And thank you to everybody who has continued to support us as we go. So I'm going to have the intro music, and then we'll be right into the devotional.
Walk with Jesus, Class 2, Palm Sunday. Today we begin our journey to Holy Week. Jesus enters Jerusalem like a conquering hero, but the day does not end like that. Mark 11, verses 1 through 11. Finally, we were approaching Jerusalem. When we got to Bethphage and Bethany, very near the Mount of Olives, he asked two of us to go run an errand for him. He said, "Go into that village up ahead. When you enter the village, you will find a colt that has never been ridden. Untie it and bring it to me. If anyone questions you about this, just say, 'The master needs this colt,' and we will bring it back as soon as we are done with it." So they went off, found the colt, and as they were untying it, some people nearby did confront them. "Why are you untying that colt?" But when they told him it was Jesus who needed it, they let them take it. They brought the colt back to Jesus, and we threw our coats on it. and he sat on it and began the ride up to Jerusalem. When people saw him, they began to cheer him on. Some people spread palm branches on the road. Others spread their coats on the ground. Then they started chanting, "Blessed is the one who comes from God. Hosanna, Hosanna. Blessed is the kingdom of David and his family. Hosanna, Hosanna in the heights of heaven." We entered Jerusalem, and the procession went straight up to the temple gates. Jesus dismounted the colt and looked all around at everything there, but it was late, and after a while, we all went back to Bethany. Palm Sunday in the other Gospels. All four Gospel writers agree that Jesus enters Jerusalem on a donkey, that the crowds get excited and join the parade chanting and waving. Then they all go in different directions. Matthew apparently just did a quick copy and paste from Mark, but then he adds that Jesus drove out the money changers. Then the blind and lame came to be healed. Then he has a brief encounter with the priests before he beats a retreat to Bethany. Luke also copies Mark, but quickly adds that the Pharisees objected to the impropriety of it all, so Jesus says the stones would shout out if the people didn't. Luke also has Jesus weep over the city as he approached it and predicts its fall. Then Luke has Jesus enter the temple, and following Matthew's timeline, he drives out the money changers and teaches everyone under the disapproving eye of the temple leaders. John, rather than expanding the story, condenses it. Jesus finds his own donkey, and the crowds follow because it was widely known that just days before, Jesus had raised Lazarus from the dead. So Peter's telling of the story of Jesus' entry into Jerusalem is the starting point for everyone else, and the others all depicted an immediate conflict with the temple leaders, the money changers, etc. Peter's story puts the money changers on Monday. Triumphal entry.